I'm here today to announce the conclusion of a three-year investigation relative to steroid use among police officers. In August of 2006, Boston Police Anti-Corruption Division, in conjunction with the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, developed information that launched a lengthy and in-depth investigation into this matter, which has resulted in multiple suspensions and several important departmental changes. In addition to the conclusion of the steroid investigation, the Boston Police Internal Affairs Unit has completed the investigation in regards to improper police officer activity at 24 Factory Street in Hyde Park. Investigators identified 24 Factory Street as an after-hours party location, which included allegations of officer misconduct. Evidence uncovered during the course of this investigation has also led to the suspension of several officers. As a result of the investigation, 7 officers have been suspended for admitting to historical steroid use, one as far back as 2001. One officer has been suspended for knowing and not reporting officers who use steroids. 4 officers have received discipline for connections related to 23 Factory Street. I'd like to commend the dedication and professionalism of the investigators in the Anti-Corruption and Internal Affairs Divisions for the completion of this extensive and complex case. These investigators play a critical role in our promise to the community to provide an effective, credible, and trustworthy police force. I'm disappointed with the actions of the officers disciplined in this matter. With this chapter finally closed, the department will move forward with improved policies and practices resulting from different lessons learned. We remain steadfast in our dedication to preserving the integrity of our department by taking every measure to prevent and, when necessary, uncover officer misconduct. The Boston Police Department has undertaken several initiatives to immediately address issues and concerns relative to steroid use by officers. The following actions have already been introduced into department practice and are currently ongoing. Enhanced reasonable suspicion training for all supervisors. Every supervisor, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and command staff have received expanded reasonable suspicion training. The curriculum includes recognizing and addressing the signs of substance abuse, specifically with steroids and also for corruption indicators. Supervisors are trained and expected as part of their duties to recognize distinct changes in officers which would require cause testing for steroids. Every newly promoted supervisor receives this training. Enhanced integrity training for all supervisors. Every supervisor, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and command staff member has received expanded integrity training. A curriculum was developed in conjunction and partnership with federal authorities. Federal authorities also participated in the training and are present at the academy to address supervisors. Every newly promoted supervisor receives this training. Enhanced health and wellness training for every officer. Every officer is now required to receive enhanced health and wellness training at the academy that focuses on the health risks associated with anabolic steroid use. Implementation of pre-employment steroid testing for recruits. Boston Police now includes steroids in all pre-employment drug testing for potential recruits. Enhanced curriculum for recruits at the police academy. All recruits now receive an improved curriculum that includes education on the dangers of steroid use, as well as expanded teachings relative to integrity and ethics issues. We've sought and secured lifetime career testing for substance abuse police violations. I sought to secure a contractual obligation of lifetime career testing for any officer who violates the drug abuse policy. The department was successful through union negotiation to amend the policy to include this provision. Termination is the result of a second positive drug test. Moving forward, the department will do the following to stay at the forefront of this issue. I'm exploring the possibility of including steroid testing in the annual drug testing policy. The department's drug policy currently states that every officer receive an annual drug exam, which tests for almost every narcotic and controlled medication, including cocaine, heroin, and OxyContin. The drug test uses a hair sample and has a 99% accuracy rate. I strongly support the current bill before the legislature requiring the state to mandate drug testing for public safety employees. I encourage the Executive Office of Public Safety to include steroids as part of this testing mandate. This department continues to closely monitor the advances in science and technology relative to steroid testing. Staff at the Police Academy are developing a distance learning program for officers that will include curriculum devoted to the dangers of steroid use and also integrity and ethics issues. You've all been provided with specific information relative to the officers involved, the violations sustained, and to the discipline meted out today. Are there any questions?
How does this affect the grand jury investigation that was going on?
The grand jury is still open, but the federal authorities have given us the authorization to move forward with the internal charges that have been taken out against the officers involved.
So but there are no criminal charges at this point for any of these officers?
That's correct.
Commissioner, can you go over the numbers again, make sure that I've got them here? Are we talking about 12 officers?
There are 7 officers that have been disciplined today for steroid use, 4 officers who have been disciplined at 24 Factory Street, and 1 officer who has been disciplined for not providing the police with information that he was privy to. But 1 officer has been involved in the steroid and Factory Street, so that's where you might have a problem with the numbers.
So the number's 11.
Correct.
And the discipline, can you talk about that? We're talking about suspensions, for what period of time?
There are substantial suspensions for the use of steroids, consistent with our bargained drug policy that's been in effect here for years.
Have you been able to determine, the connection, if any, between steroid use and the job? I mean, in exploring this, is there any sort of pattern you found as to why people are resorting to this?
Well, there's an emerging trend in law enforcement of steroid use that we're monitoring very closely. Unfortunately, we were on the leading edge of this being disclosed and a major investigation being put forth to really get into the department and find out how widespread it was. Luckily, it's not very widespread based upon the results of the investigation. But there are all sorts of reasons why officers may use anabolic steroids to increase muscle mass and for reasons that relate to working out and people who are focused.
Do they think it gives them an edge in the street work?
There's been some speculation just to that effect in some of the research that's been done on this issue, and so that may be the reason that officers are looking for this, but it's clearly illegal. It's something that is detrimental to their physical well-being, and it's also something that increases the potential for violence in the people who are taking it. So for all those reasons, we have to stay very clear in our message to the officers that this is not acceptable and can't be used in a police agency.
What districts were these officers in?
Various districts in the city.
So would you say it was widespread? Did these people all know each other? Did they come together?
Well, that's an interesting question. This is not a case of one supplier supplying all the officers involved. In large part, these were individual officers obtaining the substance from individual people, either on the internet or a gym. So they did not necessarily know each other.
Ages, are we talking younger or older? Are we all talking all male officers?
Those details will be in a package that we give you.
Including their ranking? Everything.
Correct.
Okay.
All the information, all the discipline, everything, that'll all be there. Yep.
Okay.
Can you speak any more about Factory Street in terms of what you learned was actually going on there?
Well, there was clearly an illegal alcohol bar, an illegal distribution of alcohol location there, and officers were going there. I can't get into details on exactly what was occurring in there because of the ongoing federal probe, but by and large, the officers were disciplined based upon what we know they did while they were there in that particular location. And the mere fact that they're in a place that's serving liquor without a license is a problem, and the suspensions are based upon that. There wasn't a significant amount of criminal activity that could be proved.
The ones that you found out were taking steroids, was there a department-wide testing done of everybody? Did you rely on people coming forward, or?
No, there was not a department-wide testing done. We relied on the criminal investigation, the results of which were turned over to us. But it was a very thorough and extensive investigation by federal authorities along with our anti-corruption division. that took a very hard look at this issue in the Boston Police Department, and were satisfied that their investigation was comprehensive.
By this criminal investigation, you mean the one to Polito?
It started out with Polito, and it also included the incidents that occurred on Factory Street.
How many officers total were investigated? And when the Polito case broke, there were reports that there were many officers going to this, to Factory Street, so.
Right. As far as what happened in the federal investigation, I really can't comment on that.
But how many officers did the Boston Police Department investigate?
In relation to this particular investigation?
Right. I mean, did you start off with a number that you were looking at as far as who was going to the club and who was possibly taking steroids?
I don't have that information available right now.
Last question? Okay.
Thank you.
Nobody was terminated then?
Correct.